Prayer to me is an intimate time with my loving God. When I pray, I retreat to the sacred place where the divine dwells within me. There I find peace and rest in the presence of an all-knowing God who understands my needs even before they are uttered. In this time of chaos and social distancing, I feel securely held and loved by the one who abides in me and will never forsake me.
I invite you to take a second and to think about your prayer life. How is your prayer life? Has it, like mine, suffered these past few months? I tie my daily prayer opportunities into my daily routine, going into the office, doing certain things throughout the day. So if that is thrown out the window with this pandemic and quarantine, then unfortunately my prayer life has kind of been thrown out the window. So I've needed to really kind of grow up and do something about it. Prayer is not just a part of our relationship with God. It's not just one thing that we do as a Christian. Prayer is our relationship with God. And if we don't spend time in prayer, then what are we doing? How are we going to do the rest of our lives? So I have had to make myself find 3 minutes in the morning to just sit and breathe, close my eyes, and just be with God. Oftentimes that will lead to reading the daily gospel, so I get the words of Jesus. And then sometimes that leads to a conversation with God. Because prayer is not just asking for things, although that's part of it, I do that a lot. Prayer is not just memorized prayer, as beautiful as those are. Prayer is an active relationship with our God, and it's important. So I'm just going to encourage you to keep up with it. I've needed that encouragement myself. I'm praying for you.
My prayer during this time of pandemic has changed so greatly. Without being able to go to mass, no community time, no receiving of the sacraments, my prayer has really shifted. A real grace of that is that I've become more and more comfortable with prayer being silence, prayer being just being able to sit with God and listen. The most challenging thing for me in prayer is always listening. I want to ask, I want to talk, I want to share with God my experience in life. But the most consoling thing is being able to stop, sit back, and listen and receive the grace that God is so willing and eager to give. I am so grateful that we have a God that loves us and cares so deeply to want to be in relationship. And prayer to me has really opened a new door to relationship through just being together, through spending time together, not needing to talk, not needing to do anything, but to sit and feel, be in communion with God in terms of just sharing a feeling, a relationship that's building through this experience. So prayer looks a lot different now, and I'm very grateful to be able to move forward and carry this new form of prayer with me.
Prayer. She was tired of empty prayers and petitions that led to inaction, division, and a weakening of the word. I will pray about it, they said. She had heard it enough times to know that in this example, it was their way of saying, nothing will come of our conversation. She wanted to believe the best in everyone and hoped they really did pray. But somehow, prayer had become an excuse to inaction. Somehow, prayer had become a soft, backdoor way of saying no. Somehow, prayer had a negative connotation. I will pray about it. Then she met more people of faith. They asked similar questions and had similar responses. I will pray for you, they said. You are in my prayers, they said. I will pray about this. Something was different about them. She saw that prayer and time with God was central in their ability to act justly, wisely, and righteously. They made mistakes. They prayed about it. They asked forgiveness. They prayed more, loved more, continued to grow, welcomed feedback, discerned the changing times, welcomed adversity, opposing viewpoints, diversity. they welcomed. They made prayer seem powerful and good. This was a different kind of prayer. What type of prayer will I do? The kind where I tell God what I want, or ask God for the courage to become who He wants me to be? The kind where I want others to change, or where I ask for the grace, perspective, and wisdom for the change to be within me? What kind of prayer? Where I ask for the problem to go away, or the clarity, insight, and courage to sit with the problem, to enter in, own my part, and only then come together in loving compromise. I will pray about it. That's the best place to start. But I will be careful about the type of praying I do. And I will remember that all right relationship starts with listening. Have I made time to listen?
Prayer is a conversation with God. It's us in conversation, talking, that's easy to imagine, and listening. We reflect on what this conversation means. That's really prayer. In the Ignatian tradition, meditation and contemplation are two specific kinds of prayer. In our Christian tradition, these are common ways of praying, but they're not absolutely definite where they mean the same thing all the time. In the Ignatian tradition, meditation is a prayer more of words. It's reading and it's thinking. It is, in our ancient Christian tradition, Lectio Divina, reading of Scripture, thinking about what that means, reflecting on it for ourselves. What does it mean in our lives? Contemplation in this tradition of Ignatian spirituality is more imaginative. It's not so much reading Scripture passages, but it's taking scenes from Jesus' life and imagining ourselves in them, imagining them unfolding and watching what's happening. What Ignatius says about this kind of prayer is see what's going on, listen to what's being said, and watch what's happening so that one can reflect on its meaning and what it's saying to us in our lives. Prayer has a purpose in the spiritual life, to move us through stages of purgation, that is, letting go of baggage that holds us back. Illumination, knowing Jesus better, in order to love better. Eventually union with God in